Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Becky with Salty Escape. Today we're going to be sharing 5 tips and tricks to get the most out of your Splendide washer dryer combo. We've been full-time RVers for over a year and RVing for many years before that. So if you don't want to miss out on our tips and tricks, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button and you'll get notified when we post. And if you know somebody who would benefit from these tips and tricks, please share with them. Welcome back to our channel, guys. This is Salty Escape. Today I am giving you some more information on our Splendide washer dryer combo unit. It's the 2100xc. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to use this washer and dryer to the fullest capacity. It is not the same as a household washer and dryer, and there's some things that you should know to make it perform the best that it can for you. So whether or not you're shopping or if you already have one and you're struggling with it, these are some things that we have found that work really well. So here we go. Tip number 1. How do you wash a load of laundry and have good results? Don't overload the washer and dryer. That's tip number 1. People who overload these things are the ones you hear complaining about how long it takes. It takes 5 hours to do a load of laundry and dry it. It's probably because it's overloaded. So these loads are pretty small, but if you do laundry fairly frequently, you can still keep up with the typical laundry that you have in your home. If you overload this thing, it will take forever to dry. And even in the manual, it says this unit can wash more laundry than it can dry. So if you're hanging laundry out to dry, you could do a bigger load. If you're going to let it flip over to the dry cycle and dry the unit, then you should not be putting a super large load of laundry in here. So our loads vary a little bit because I do have some clothes that I hang to dry. So if I'm planning to pull out half the laundry to hang, I can fill it a little bit more full. Things that hold more water like towels, bulkier items, you're going to have to wash less of. Plus towels are just bigger in general, but as a general rule, you want to look at filling this thing about half full. So let me show you what that looks like. It's actually a pretty decent load of laundry. So we've got some shorts for the kids, shirts for the kids. I have a couple of knit dresses. We have a pair of swim trunks, and Corey has a polo shirt and about 3 t-shirts. And this is the load of laundry that would fit and probably do fine flipping from the wash to dry cycle. About half full is the most you want to put in here on a typical wash to dry cycle. So tip number 2, for the Splendide, for each load of laundry, you have to use a very set amount of detergent and fabric softener, and you're supposed to use both. The amount is, you're supposed to use 1 to 2 tablespoons of detergent and 1 to 2 tablespoons of fabric softener for each load of laundry. So what we do is we reuse old hand soap pump bottles. We fill one with detergent and one with fabric softener, and then we pump them into a tablespoon to measure out how many pumps is it for 1 tablespoon. So let's do
So I'm going to measure this out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pumps. Born GVS.
So now I'm just going to do the same thing with the fabric softener just to be sure it's the same.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I would say 7, yeah, probably about 7 to 8 for that. So a little less actually. So for us, when we measured, we used 9 pumps of detergent and 7 pumps of fabric softener per each tablespoon. So I typically do 1 tablespoon if it's a smaller load or not as bulky, and I do closer to 2 tablespoons worth of product if it is a larger or more bulky load. So 9 pumps is a tablespoon. So 1, 2, 3. That's 1 tablespoon. I'll do a couple more just for, usually I think a tablespoon is plenty, and it says 1 to 2, so that's what we do. And then fabric softener. And it was. All right, tip number 3. So I got this from Gone with the Winds. The tip that I got from their blog is how to make a wrinkle spray. It works so well. So let me show you how to make that. You take a cup of water to 1 teaspoon of fabric softener. So what I do is I make a little bit of larger amount than that, and I'm doing 2 cups of water just in my plain old measuring cup. And then I will get 2 teaspoons of fabric softener. I have my fabric softener in my pump. I'm going to pump that into a teaspoon, which is literally looks like 3 pumps. Well, now that I know that, I'm just going to put 3 more in here. Be done with that. Okay. The most important thing about the spray bottle that you use is it has to make a mist. And this is an ironing spray bottle, and basically it makes a really fine mist. And that's the most important factor in this whole process. So, perfect. So this shirt is a really good example of a shirt that it doesn't matter how you wash and dry it, it's going to be horribly wrinkly when it comes out. So the worst part of this garment is usually the sleeve, and like I said, this has just gone through the washer. It's not, I didn't dry this at all, I always hang it to dry. So, but the sleeves are always wrinkly like this. So what I do is I just lay it out like this, and then I'll just lightly spray it a little bit, like so, and then I'll just kind of pull. And as you can see, just from pulling, it's starting to come out. This area didn't really spray, so let me spray that again and just pull. And it's already looking a whole lot better. This might be a little bit confusing because this shirt actually does bunch here at the elbow, but if Corey will put up on the screen the before and the after so you can see, but this is what it looks like now. So you could do this to the whole shirt. The rest of the shirt isn't that bad, but I thought that would be a good example to show you exactly what this spray can do. It can get out like the worst wrinkles in these shirts, so yeah, and it's easy. And that was tip number 3.
Tip number 4. This dryer actually functions somewhat like a steam dryer. I have a shirt here that's a little bit wrinkly, and I could use my wrinkle spray that I just showed you in the last tip. However, I don't want to do that. So we're gonna put it in the dryer to use as a steam dryer. And we have to set it for 20 minutes because it's the lowest amount of time, but you can interrupt it. So whenever you feel like it's done, you can pull it out. So let me show you how to do that. So there's nothing in the dryer right now. I throw in my item and I close it. So let's turn it to 5, okay? Now let's go ahead and set that to 20. So here in just a second, I'm gonna hit the start button to get this going. What you're gonna hear is water being pulled into the unit. And the first time I heard that, I thought, oh my gosh, it's washing. It's not. It just puts a little bit of water into the drum, kind of below the level where the clothes are, so you don't even see it. But I'm gonna hit start. That's lock. So very little bit of water, and now my shirt is in a tumble dry mode. So as the dryer heats up, the water heats up, and it makes a little bit of steam in there. It tumbles very nicely, and it does pause here and there, as you can see, and then starts going again. So reasons you might want to do this over the spray that we made. Some people are allergic to fabric softener, so this kind of gets around that. You don't have to have the fabric softener for this. The other thing is, if you have something that has been stuffed in a closet or a drawer and it has a little bit of a musty smell, you could also spray it down with the fabric softener spray, get the wrinkles out, but you can put it in here just to kind of freshen it up a little bit. It does make it smell better usually. The other thing is, you can do all of this with the natural fabric softener, naturally derived fabric softener. I usually only let this run 5 to 10 minutes. Push and hold start, it'll stop and it'll clear out the cycle. So now it's not doing that anymore. All right, and now my shirt is fresh and feels warm and smells good. Final tip, tip number 5. When it is being stored, you should leave the door open. So it doesn't have to be open all the way, just a crack. We know some people have these very tightly packed in the area where the washer dryer hookup is, and that you may not be able to open the door very wide, but it also might be a reason that you'd want to leave these doors open just to keep the door cracked. There is water that sits down in this washer after a load of laundry. So if you can imagine, over time that would dry up and that's fine, but if the door's closed, it could get moldy and mildewy in there. So that's not great. So we, if we're gonna leave it for a while, we'll leave this door popped open just to let it air out. Otherwise, we like this unit. I started a load of laundry and I don't need to be here. It'll switch over to dry when it's done washing. The dry cycle is an hour. The wash cycle is probably about an hour and a half at this point. So I don't need to be here. We can go do something else. So we're gonna go to dinner. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up below. We're trying to give some tips and tricks to you guys to try to help you through these RV unknowns for a lot of people who are getting started. If you know somebody who would benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. We should be back for a normal video on Wednesday this week. See ya!